For 22 hours, we show up, not for fame, not for applause, but for the ones who wake up every day and put everyone else first.
This is our 4th year. 22 continuous hours of real conversations, real stories, real hope. Voices that refuse to be silent. Hearts that refuse to quit.
Some are exhausted, some are hurting, some are carrying the weight of the world quietly, while still showing up for others. This podcast is for them.
On Sunday, February 22nd, starting at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific, we go live for 22 straight hours to raise funds, raise awareness, and remind people they are not alone. If you've ever felt unseen, if you've ever given more than you had, if you believe compassion still matters.
This is your moment to stand with us. Listen, share, support. Because when we come together, hope gets louder, strength multiplies. Real heroes don't wear capes. They just keep showing up, tired, unseen, and still giving.
Join us live. Sunday, February 22nd, 4 a.m. East, 1 a.m. Pacific. Show up for those who never stop showing up for others.
Because no one needs to go it alone. When we all
come together.
Hey there, friends. I've been thinking, we all have our strengths, right? I can do this, but I'm not so great at that. I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm not so great at adding things into a website or app. Oops. I love speaking, sharing stories, but social media, all those hashtags and algorithms, yeah, that's a jungle I haven't quite figured out yet. Coming up with ideas that bring folks together? I'm all about it. Bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I don't exactly get along, but that's okay because someone out there is good at those things, and when we work together, magic happens. See, Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us great on our own. But imagine how much stronger we are when we bring all those talents together. That's what Community Pay It Forward is all about. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working together to make a difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's find out together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Welcome to 2026. Welcome to Community Impact, and welcome to my great friend. And honestly, unless I mean this from the bottom of my heart, brother, you gave the most impactful story on the miracle of the season. And I've actually played it a couple times just because of your heartfelt, your story of problem that you were able to take and turn around into and using Christ as a way to take and turn your own life around and save yourself. I have played that video on the Pack channels probably 20 times since Christmas alone because of the power of your story. And I just want to tell you from personally, from me to you, thank you for sharing that with us, because that was the most, I thinking about it, in which I've shown my arm like you can see it, but I've got goosebumps right now because I'm thinking about your story. But welcome to another year, Les. Welcome to you. And thank you for joining us again.
You bet. You bet.
So let's You just told me something that was really exciting, and you are very right. With our work, a lot of times, every time that we would talk, there would be talk about it's coming up, it's in the future, it's on the way, it's going to happen. That's going away. You've got a new saying.
Yep. It's here.
Here, perfect. That's perfect. So tell us what's
On
here,
this
my
part
friend.
of it, yes. And excited because it's not new. It's so tested. It's real. It's got unbelievable background on it. And I've taken it myself. And that's what really, in fact, anybody and wants to take it and so forth, it's I invite people to first off watch the 5-minute introduction video, and then under it, 3 choices: either to look at the white paper to see the validity of this. It's been tested outside, um, and shows the validity of how accurate it is. And then the other thing is that, and the one thing in neuroscience, and this is what people really have a problem with, is we were taught in school and business we can do anything, and we can't. We were designed with certain talents, abilities, and interests. And one of the things JW talked about all the time is we're a community, we're a tribe, and we were designed to be able to support our part of it and other people, their part of it. And that's one of the things that by watching my assessment, I can really see areas that I need to leave alone and areas that I'm super good at. And it really goes along with the fact that, and the other thing that really on the bottom of the white paper is the testimonial of the lady that owns 3 companies. And she talks about once she was actually able to put people in the spots they were designed for. First off, they wanted to do their work because that's who they were designed to do. And second, they were really able to get along better with their team members because they saw that's their part. And so to me, that's absolutely amazing. And it all has to do with the way God designed us. And that's one of the things I do tell on all my trainings. I say, your belief, whether it's the universe or God, we were created, we were designed. And so your belief, whatever, we're there. But unfortunately, JW's book talks about that public education, business education really messed that up. Telling anybody they can do anything and then taking away their imagination and their emotions and saying, you're going to do what we want. And for the ones that broke out of it, they were rebels. But that's what business people are, rebels. In fact, most business people tell you they could not be employed if they had to be because they're so independent, and which is great.
One of the other things that the school system did, Les, that JW likes to bring up is that the school system they they did a terrible job of teaching you because they didn't put any thought in how to teach you. They didn't.
Right.
They not that they. No, I guess I said that wrong. They didn't put any thought in how you learn.
Right.
It's more along the lines of how you learn. They focused on how they wanted to teach you, but they didn't give any thought to how you learn, because you can throw everything at a wall, but only certain things are going to stick. I mean, it's a saying that all of us have used at one point in time or another, but how many of us have actually paid attention to that? Because you can you can sit there and listen to tons of stuff coming at you 300 miles an hour, but most of that's just going to go whipping right by you.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and school did a terrible job on throwing all that stuff at you, and you learned it long enough to take a test, Well, some people did. Um, I guess I took the tests. I just never passed them. But that was their job, was to get you to learn long enough to pass and move on. It
Yeah,
wasn't. They weren't trying to teach you for the rest of your life, and
correct.
that's what all of this focuses on, is how do you learn to where we can, to where you can be taught for the rest of your life, so you can talk to other people and they can understand exactly what you're saying. How do you learn? How did they learn? And how can you connect with the way that they learn?
Exactly. And that's what they didn't do because they had an agenda that they had to get you through the system. And that's what's so unfortunate. But that's one of the things when JW went into schools and turned around schools that were on drugs and gangs by showing the students the way their brain was designed. And one of the big things he always told them is, I will show you how to get all the free, um, happy feelings that you get from drugs free today. And that was, and of course, it took him a year or two, but he taught them how to connect with other kids and become part of the community, and how to ask themselves what they really wanted. And that was one of the things that they just weren't used to. They didn't get what they wanted. They were low income and so forth. But he also taught them that having physical things, and that's one of the things, you can have all the physical things and be absolutely miserable, or you can have very little physical things, get connected with who you are, and it doesn't matter. And that's one of the things that he taught. And so it all comes down to scripture, the where Paul says, I've been abased and I've been, the top of the pile. And as long as you have food, shelter, and clothing, be satisfied. And of course, today, especially, I like entertainment on top of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's one of the things that it all goes around. And that's one of the things, again, JW said constantly, is we were all created. And all of these studies show it, that the way the brain and everything was created, which is just phenomenal. And now I get to represent that on a subtle level, and let everybody know they're created. And hopefully we'll get it back into companies, because the 5-minute video, the introduction, the gentleman that was selling it to the Fortune 500 for 30 years. And by the way, to name drop, we're talking IBM, we're talking Coca-Cola, we're talking Lucid, and dozens of others. He retired, and he started in the 80s, and needless to say, 80s, 90s, 2000. And he turned it over to JR in 2015. And that's when JR started using it for churches. And because he's taken into churches trying to get churches to understand. And that's one of the things, if anybody has connections, I'd love to talk to Christian colleges, Christian charter schools, because we can talk to the students. And again, even in high school, if they have choices, they ought to know what they should be taking on what's going to stick. Because the white paper shows that it's for kids from 16 and up. And if they take education or to experience that they're not designed for, it's not going to stick. And that's what the Fortune 500 found out after decades of use, is people that decided. And unfortunately, too many people get education because dad or mom said to, not because what they were designed for, and or they want to mimic somebody else because they have popularity, and instead of being themselves, and it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Les, and we didn't discuss this, but I think that this is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to take and I'm going to play that 5-minute video right now. And so
Sure.
that way people can take a look at that 5-minute video. And then when we come back, We're going to discuss this a little bit further, a few more things. We're going to discuss some talk about, redefine, or let's see, it's a refiner, a director, and what does it mean to be a futurist or a planner? We'll
Sure.
talk about that when we come back. So let's take a real quick minute and let's watch this 5-minute video.
Sounds good.
Welcome to Real Living Assessments. My name is John Rennie, also known as JR. I've been in business myself for over 30 years with Rennie Lindsay and Associates, and I'm bringing to you one of the tools that we have uncovered as being really impactful in the way that we approach business. One of the most important things with being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, is to convey your values and your vision to your employees. They're representing you 24/7, and if they are not on board with your values because A, you don't know what they are, you don't know how to communicate those to them, then they're going to be representing you in a way that is not going to get you the results that you're looking to accomplish. So how do we go about doing this? At Real Living Assessments, we have an assessment program that dives deep into each one of your employees. We figure out what your motivated role is. We figure out what their impact style, their temperaments, and then also their interests, abilities, and values. And we put all that together to give you a real detailed, objective viewpoint of the strengths and shortcomings of each one of your members of your team. So why is that important? Well, think about it like you are a manager of a baseball team, and you have a great shortstop, but your pitcher is a little weak, and your second baseman is a little weak, and your catcher isn't quite up to par either. Well, you know you're going to have problems. You're going to give up runs, and that shortstop isn't going to be as effective as he could be if there wasn't a really good second baseman. What we do is, through our assessment program, we give you a way of analyzing each one of the members of your team to see where they would flourish the best, where you can get the most out of them. Which one is a utility player that you can put anywhere, and which one is an absolute specialist and can only function if you give them a certain environment. Something like they need quiet to be able to perform their work as opposed to working in the bullpen. They need to be able to be around people because that part fuels their fire. These are all different insights. And the reality is, one of the mistakes we make is that we frequently hire people that are just like us. And so we're missing people that are going to be more system-oriented, or we're missing people that are on the creative scale. So what we do is we give you these tools, these assessments, where you can go back and evaluate where each one is, where you can actually place a specific team member to be able to accomplish your goals. Now, obviously that's going to have immediate impact on the bottom line, where people are actually going to be able to function at a greater degree and be able to really flourish where you're at. But it also helps you because one of the roles of a leader is to make yourself replaceable. If your business cannot function without you physically being there, you're going to be limited in growth. You need to be able to delegate your responsibilities to other people. You need to be able to stick to what you do really well and delegate those things that you don't do well. And so to do that, you need to find people that are different than you and to be able to measure them, but also make sure that they have your values. Make sure that they also are on board with your vision. So succession planning. If you're looking to eventually be able to move on from your business and be able to manage it remotely, really important. Conflict mitigation. Let's say that you have a certain quality assurance manager that is always at odds with your sales manager. And the two people are absolutely valuable in their positions, but what's happening is their personalities, their designs are conflicting to the point where you're almost at the point where you have to choose between which one you're going to keep. We can help you with that. Because part of it is that those two specific type of individuals are so uniquely different that they will have a natural conflict, and that will continue if they don't understand what the other person brings to the table. Why they are both dependent upon each other. So we do this through a design discovery meeting. That's where they've gone through their assessments, and we've actually digging deep into that person's design. We do it through leadership training. We actually teach you how to be able to look at these assessments and be able to make managerial decisions on moving a certain person to a new role. Who is best suited for that new branch that you're opening up? Where we can work with your staff, we can work with you, we can work with individuals to help them see how they work together best. What do they need to be able to do their best job? And not everything that person needs is financial. Sometimes what they need is peace and quiet. Sometimes what they need is the enthusiasm of working with a team. And each person is different, not like you. Spend as much time on our website as you want. Take out the assessment yourself, vet it, see how it works for you. If it works for you, then reach out to us. We'd love to see if we can help your organization. Thank you.
Community Pay It Forward isn't just another rewards program. It's a movement built on compassion and connection. We link everyday businesses, nonprofits, and neighbors, so simple actions like buying lunch, getting your car fixed, or hiring a service can create lasting impact. When you choose one of our giving partners, part of your purchase goes directly to families, veterans, children, or community missions in need. It doesn't cost you a dime more. It just means your purchases matter. Because here, every transaction tells a story. And our belief is simple. If you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. Because if community pay it forward, no one needs to go it alone when we all.
Okay, we're back. And Les, I think when we left off, you were talking about how we went to school, because mom and dad wanted us to, or we went to school with the mind of maybe an idol in our thoughts, in our hearts, or something. We need to, and I was terrible at this, and I'll admit it right now with my sons. My sons, I was always on their case because they loved playing video games. They were, I didn't play video games as a kid. Granted, we didn't have as many video games when I was a kid. Okay. So, but one of the people that I have met throughout my days of marketing has taken the world of video games and been teaching and been very successful of teaching teamwork with video games. And he did exactly what JR talked about, what you're talking about, is he was able to find what interested him. And he was able to create something that reached beyond barriers, that reached beyond people who like video games, don't like video games, and bring them together, because he was able to create something that talked to people. So, and it's a really simple program if we allow people to open their minds and use their minds. Their minds are wonderful things, and we can create systems that work wonderful for other people, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, I mean, this guy takes Minecraft, the game Minecraft, and I couldn't stand that game when my kid was playing it. Poor graphics, all this other stuff, but this kid is making a wonderful, wonderful living, changing companies by teaching them how to create together, teamwork. And I think it's great. It's, think about it. He is like the modern day version of all the big names that we, listened to in the past, all the books, the Tracys, all of those guys that we've read the books or listened to the books. Well, this guy's doing it with Minecraft. So he might be the next pioneer of the business world because he opened his mind. He used what he understood and made it possible for other people to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and that's one of the things. Once we're on track to who we're to be, that's one of the things that JW talked about all the time. And it's funny to imagine seeing it, but at the same time, he said all the time our eyes and our ears are looking and seeing whatever we can to make ourselves better once we're on track. And that's one of the things that people, again, have trouble believing that we're supposed to make it because there's been such a struggle trying to be somebody else and not making it. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to really iterate with this assessment is it shows us who we are. And that's when they watch the assessment of me and see who I am and who I'm not. Like it said, which I've always wondered, because to pull ideas out of the air of something that's supposed to be created, it's not there. And now I know why. I'm not the creator. I'm not the designer. The creator is the one that is the ethereal, and the designer is the one that takes that, makes a prototype out of it. And then the developer, it says that me and the developer and the refiner work well together. And because the developer is actually the one that puts it into a workable, sellable product or service. And then the refiner, after it's out there and people find different things that it needs to be improved or whatever, the refiner does that. He finds all the ways to improve it. And then, of course, the maximizer, after everything's done, they are the ones that keep it going, keep the quality control up, keep the make sure all the materials and so forth are bought, and so it's profitable for the company, but the best for the customer. And that's the quality control person that has to check every single level that they're using quality at a good price for the the word just the prototype and so forth all the way through. So those 6, and that's one of the reports in there, is the 6 critical profiles to keep a business going. Because one of the things, and JW talked about all the time, is because we're not taught to connect with our emotions of our clients or ourselves. That's why 95% of businesses fail, because people operate on emotions. And that's one of the things with this assessment is there's 5 different levels of any creative company. And if you use those and have a quality control manager, you have less of a chance of going out of business in the 5 years. I would say a major less chance. Because that's what the Fortune 500 companies, and needless to say, Fortune 500 have proven they make it past the 5th year. And so with their ways to do it is that, plus, of course, and that's the main team, but then all the engineers and so forth, because every project had to have that on it. Every team had to have those profiles there. Otherwise, they don't work.
How many people have come up with a wonderful idea and they thought that they could take it from ground level to absolute success and continue that success, and they just fall off the cliff because they don't understand that we fall in love with our thoughts. We fall in love with our creations. We fall in love with things, and we don't ever see them as things that need to be worked on and massaged and upgraded at times. And we resist upgrades. We do all this other stuff, and there are other people out there saying, "No, you've done a wonderful job, but if we stay here, we're staying here while others are moving ahead of us. And so we need to continue to go. There's never been a company that has stayed the same throughout the years.
Oh, no. No.
It doesn't happen. Whether you're a cookie company that, at one point in time you used, all these fattening ingredients, and now you're finding out, well, we can't do that. First off, we can't afford it, so we need to use, instead of using sugar, we're using corn syrup. Instead of, things always change. Businesses always change, and you can't be afraid to change.
Yeah.
You can do a wonderful job, but you got to let somebody else get in there with their hands and go, look, you've done a great job here, but let me see what I can do from here.
Yep.
One person cannot create success. It takes a team.
Yep. And what's funny, and I can't remember the name of the bread, but when I was in Thai, we had a lady come in and talk to us, and she had been the CEO of this bread company, the new owner, and she met with her board and said, we're going to take this, and it was very small at that point, something like 50 million. And the board says, this is bread. Needless to say, that person was fired immediately. And the other people, I mean, now it's over 100 million a year. And it was supposed to be 10 million or something. I can't remember. My wife uses the bread all the time. I can't remember which one it is. But the vision of having the difference, but somebody that didn't have the vision at all and completely criticized it. Come on, this is bread. So needless to say, they weren't part of the team.
Yeah, another great example would be the McDonald's brothers. When the McDonald's brothers were happy with 2 or 3 restaurants, and when Cook came in, he said, "Oh no, we can do much better." He offered them, I believe it was 1 million or 2 million for it. And now McDonald's is this monster of a company that's worth,
right,
billions and trillions of dollars, because he had, Cook took a great idea, a wonderful idea, something that the McDonald brothers had perfected. And he was able to, and Cook was able to take and, make perfection even better. And he was able to take and spread it worldwide. He came in with that plan to make perfect even more perfect, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, and share it with the world. And now McDonald's is McDonald's.
Yeah.
So
it's quite interesting.
Yeah. And that took 2 different types of people. It took the McDonald's brothers, and it took a guy who sold, he sold soft shake equipment.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he was selling shake equipment, and he went in and they became business partners. So, you're talking about it's a fascinating story. I love that story. And, Cook wasn't always the nicest guy in the world, but guess what? He knew what the hell he was doing. And he was not the guy who could have created McDonald's. If he was sitting there and with a piece of paper and a pencil, he could not have come up with the idea of McDonald's.
Yep.
But the McDonald's brothers could not have made it what it is today.
Exactly. And that's why it takes a team. That's a perfect example of the creator, the designer for the prototype, and the developer for a sellable, and then the refiner, who would be Cook, to find all the ways to make it much better and take it further. So that's one of the things I hope to get those understandings out there, because those were never in any assessments of any type. And that's one of the things that in our assessments, the 3 things that we have that nobody's touched, and there's Myers-Briggs, there's DISC, but they don't even put the results together for those 2. It's two separate things. But with this, they put that together. They put the 5 motivation roles, and then they put the values, the interests, and the abilities. And the values are the fire that keeps going no matter what. The values is reason people go through hell, the ups and downs to get something done. The values is the deal that pushes you up the hill when you're so damn tired you can't make it. That's what our values is, and that's what really kind of surprised me. But the more I've been studying this under JR, it goes right along with neuroscience. And that's the reason I love this, and that's one thing JR has realized is this goes right along with what I've been teaching on neuroscience. And but the different parts of us, that's why I'm so excited about getting it out there, because it's so revolutionary. But it was used for 30 years, revolutionary. But it was strictly private. No public company could have it. It was strictly, it was called strategic employee development. And he only went to the Fortune 500. It was private consulting. And now any company out there through us can have it. And all the kids, before they take all this stuff in high school or college, can have this, and love any cooperation with anybody out there that has connections to these. And to clarify, there's 3 levels of this. First off is the 275 everybody takes. And then once they see that this makes a lot of sense to me, we have a second level for individuals. It's called, it's a 2.5 to 3 hour coaching deal, which shows them their purpose statement. Not a goal statement, goals come and go. Purpose of what they really plan on attaining in a foundation all their life. The next part, and that's personal. Like for instance, a company has everybody take the assessment, but then we go into the board and we determine if the board gets along, if they have all of the creativity. But one of the things that I'm not sure if he tells on that 5 minute, I think it's another one he tells on. They had a Fortune 500 company that was replacing CEOs every 2 years. And since they had the relationship with Stephen Johnson is the one who developed this, they asked him, can you help us? He went in and he did an assessment on every board member. And he did an assessment on the CEO. And he says, you're just hiring yourself. You've got to have somebody to pull the company forward that you're not. And so they redid the assessment and figured out who it needed to be, then hired it. And then the CEO easily lasted 5 years after that. And the company did very well. And that's one of the things with this assessment. If somebody's retiring, like a sales manager, we could do assessment on them and basically hire the person as close to them as possible that's made them so successful. So it's pretty amazing, everything that can be done with it.
Well, Les, we've got another video that we're going to watch right now, and then we're going to come back and we'll close this out. But sure. I've come up with a few questions that I would challenge people to really think about while they're watching this video. And the first one would be your motivation and role fit. Okay, so while you're watching this, which part of the project energizes you the most? Starting, developing, refining, or maintaining? So ask yourself, which part would I fit best into there? The second question is around working with others. How can we support your director style without making you feel blocked or silenced? Okay. Or what do you need from analysis, creatives, or developers to work at your best? And then the second is leadership and growth. Or I'm sorry, the third question is around leadership and growth. What kinds of challenges or problems excite you the most? And I like the way that one came out. What excites you about challenges? Do you look at a challenge and go, this could be fun? Or do you look at it and go, oh boy, you know, you need to look
Yep.
at challenges like, hey, this could be fun. Or where do you feel your intuition and planning abilities make the biggest impact? So I will have these questions streaming across the bottom as you watch this video. So keep asking yourself this over this video. And then when Les and I return, we're going to go on ahead and close out our first show of our 4th season, Les. Can you believe that? 4th
Wow.
season. This is awesome. So, but so Les, tell us a little bit about this video, and then we'll go on ahead and get it playing.
Sure. This video is the assessment itself. And one thing I want you to think about where you're watching this, what pre-college, what freshmen that you can recommend take this so they don't. And the other thing is, if you can get me into Christian colleges or Christian charter schools, because again, this was developed by a Christian businessman, the way our body is designed. And so think, and if you know a company that's struggling, if we restructure the company with this, you'd be surprised how much, and that's what the testimonial says, of the lady that owns 3 companies. So just keep your mind open on where this can go, because you have people. And the other thing is, it saves marriages. So if you have anybody that's struggling, we can do this assessment and they can see who they are.
Well, this isn't all about just working within your business. This is about working within yourself, working with others. So,
Yep.
Every part of your life you're selling, there's no such thing as I'm not a salesman. Yes, you are. Every day of
Yep.
your life you are. You always have to deal with people, whether you want to or not. There's no such thing as I guess there are a couple true loners out there, but they're not very successful people. Let's put it that way. So,
Sure.
we'll watch this video, and then Les, you and I will be back, and we will close it out.
Sounds good.
All right, so here we go. This video
And we will
is
begin
going to
the
be
analysis.
about a little short of
We
30
will
minutes.
start
So
with
we'll be
the
right back.
motivator role. The motivator role is the point where you become motivated in a given project, but also includes the point where you lose motivation. If you ever observed a relay race at a track or swim meet, you know that each leg of the race requires athletes with distinct specialties. The first runner or swimmer needs to be the most explosive, quick off the starting block, and driven to get out in front as early as possible. The second and third must be coordinated at taking the handoff of the baton and carefully timing their start so as not to leave too early or too late. The final athlete or anchor is usually the one who responds best to the pressure of the final lap, knowing that the race is theirs to win or lose. Which leg or phase of the project do you prefer to work on? Do you like to be in on the start of things when people are still talking about ideas and possibilities? Or are you better suited to something that is up and running, where the expectations are clear and the circumstances are well defined? In this particular case, our client is a dominant refiner. These other numbers in the designer and developer will come into play at various times, but they're not as dominant for him. He will always come to this role. So what is a refiner? Refinement role is primarily fulfilled by maximizing the potential of an existing product or service, shaping it into a system that is consistent and productive. Quality is the name of the game. If there is additional potential to extract from a person, program, product, or organization, the refiner stays motivated. But once that maximizing objective has been achieved, the refiner loses interest and wants to hand things over to a custodian, typically a maximizer. And in this particular case, the client is 0% maximizer. So that would not be where we would want them to be spending their time. Now, the thing about the refiner is because they're always looking for efficiency and perfection, if you will, they're going to be misunderstood by people on this side of the motivated role. Creatives and designers are all about birthing new ideas, change, and things that are incomplete and not fully thought out. Refiners can have the tendency to be seen as overly critical, though what they're really trying to do is simply make sure that it works. There is a potential for this person's motivations to be misunderstood. When they are partnered with somebody who is a dominant developer, in this case would have to be 60, 70, 80%, where they have a good working knowledge and working relationship with them. Now we have the maximum potential of the refiner. When the critical opinions are necessary, the developer can then go to the refiner and ask for their opinion. But hold that judgment, hold those observations during the creative process when the idea is in its research and development organic stage. So coupled with the high developer, the refiner, in this particular case can be extremely productive and is always welcomed. I personally am very fond of refiners because they find what I have done wrong and ultimately wind up making it a little bit better. We now move down to the impact style. The impact style reflects your preferred way of trying to influence or shape other people. In all your dealings with others, it's important to feel that your presence matters and your preferences are honored or at least getting heard. The means you use in asserting your personality is called your impact style. Impact style is vitally important for understanding human relationships. When you are free to impact others in ways that are natural, you tend to feel optimistic. You feel confident that your values have a good chance of being fulfilled. On the other hand, if your impact style is blocked, you tend to feel anxious and probably even angry. You sense that your personhood is not being acknowledged and your desires will not be fulfilled. Knowing your own impact style as well as the styles of the people with whom you live and work can help you relate to others in more productive ways. For example, instead of writing somebody off as bossy just because they tend to take charge and give orders, you can learn to value their style as a director. Likewise, instead of accusing the person who seems to be a stickler for getting things perfect, might learn to appreciate their impact style as an analyst. Understanding other people's impact styles helps us to appreciate how their unique temperament seeks to be seen, heard, and felt to have an impact. In this particular case, our client is a dominant director. Directors are one of the most widely misunderstood and oftentimes not appreciated of the four impact styles. At 60%, this is a very dominant style. There will be a natural conflict between a director that is highly motivated to address chaos and undergoing and an analyst that is perceived to be impeding that progress. I would strongly recommend that this particular client study the analyst design. They will find that analysts are going to be great partners if they can learn to work with them, not push them into decisions that are premature, and to be able to benefit from the research and analysis that these individuals tend to do. The directors are oftentimes misperceived by other people. For instance, persuaders will see a director as wanting to have their own way, that they are more interested in that than in people. Cooperators will see them as people who are pushy, somewhat inconsiderate, and demanding, seeming to want to assert themselves and have others do their bidding. And then analysts, the one that we have the greatest potential conflict here, people who don't care how long it takes to do something they just want it now. Those are the perceptions of directors by these other impact styles. So we do want to make sure that we take these things into consideration and strongly understand from the director's standpoint how they potentially can be perceived. The problem here is that it's not that the director is wrong. It's just that their motivation, their concern for the issue that's creating chaos is being misinterpreted by the others. So better communication, patience, honoring the other impact styles that you're working with will create a better working environment for the director to achieve their goals. Now, Many leaders are strong directors. It's just part of that taking control of a chaotic situation. There are two possible tweaks for a director. One is the give up tweak, and this is where effectively their voice has been silenced. They are not appreciated for trying to correct chaos or prevent things from going wrong. In fact, they are absolutely resented for this in many cases. Over time, the director will eventually get to a point where they go, I don't care. Let it burn. They will not use their design to prevent problems from happening because nobody is paying attention to them and listening to their concerns. The other tweak of a director is overextend, and in this particular case, it goes from trying to control a situation or themselves to trying to control the will of other people. Now, this is not to be confused with policies and procedures that the company has implemented. This becomes entrenched in the minutiae of human behavior and their personal choices. We all have a free will that has to be honored and respected. Cannot be coerced or threatened to be able to get your way. So you'll see some people go into this control freak type of tweak where they are wanting to control the free will choices of everybody else in the team. This is a warning sign that the director has overextended their design and now in the process of actually causing chaos by trying to control other people's personal choices. Go ahead and move over to the temperaments. This particular client has a very interesting combination of temperaments here. The temperaments have to do with how your mind works. How do you focus your attention? What sort of information will you gather to make a good decision? How do you evaluate information and give it meaning? How do you approach making a decision? We all have certain traits common with others, but make no mistake, you have a unique style, a one-of-a-kind approach to dealing with the world. Like the colors on our palette, there may be a limited number of behavioral patterns that combine to form what we call temperament. But there are an infinite number of possible combinations and varieties. In a sense, you have been painted with your unique temperament and your personality affects how you interact with others and in the workplace. That's why it's vital that you understand as much as possible about how you are wired. You'll have a greater appreciation for strengths and limitations. You'll also be better prepared to troubleshoot the problems and conflicts that inevitably come while working with other people. We're going to take a look at the detail of these particular temperaments and anything that is in this 60-40, 50-50. You can kind of think of it as a balanced temperament. These are people that have the capacity to see both sides of the coin. They can want to have times where they will go into deep kind of quiet pondering or analysis, and there are other times where they will want to interact with other people and work in a group situation. In this particular case, the client is right there in the middle, and so you have that combination. There'll be times where he wants that deep analysis, and there'll be times where he wants to work in a group. The other benefit of this particular personality combination is that middle road gives them a tremendous amount of energy. Typically mental energy. The ability to be able to stick with the problem, to really work it through, to go at moments when it's necessary into a deep analytical approach to the problem, and also be able to go into a socialite group setting where we're working out the problem in a group effort. These things are huge benefits for an organization in that they're not going to give up easily on a problem. When we get into the backside of the advanced assessment analysis, you'll see the problem-solving aspect of this particular individual is going to be well suited to allow them to have full reign in these areas where they're trying to work out something that's especially challenging for the organization. Under the gathering information, we see a very dominant futurist design here. Now, in this particular case, this is going to be somebody that will take into consideration the practical approach, the research, the analysis, the statistics, but also has a gut feel that they will learn, given time and opportunity to be able to trust. Inspiration, intuition, whatever it is that you want to call it. There'll be certain things that they will be committed to that they will not be able to give all the evidence that might be required by high realists at first. Over time, as their intuition becomes more and more of a proven fact, those things will be able to be provided. When listening to an individual with this sort of design, I would certainly take in consideration what it is that they have to say. What I typically will tell realists if they are dealing with a high futurist is first of all measure the character of the individual. Do they appear to be somebody that is ethically restrained? That they tell the truth? That they are a person of integrity? Those would be good indications that the individual's motivations for championing a intuitive or inspired idea are actually good and not necessarily just self-serving. As a realist, you always want to take in consideration what they have, but make sure that it is acceptable and also a verifiable eventually idea to pursue. Further down here, we will get into the thinker-feeler. Now, these last two down here are two of the areas where the greatest amount of conflict can be found in relationships based upon temperament. This particular client is right there in the middle. And so it would be a good counselor for people that are disagreeing with one another. Maybe for very good reasons. Thinkers are all about accomplishing the objective, and feelers are all about the subject of how does this impact the tribe, the community, the team, the environment that everybody is working in. So both of them need to be considered in making a good decision. And a person with a 60-40 or 50-50 breakdown here is a good person that will see things from both sides of the perspective. The individual is leaning slightly in the planner side, so you can expect them to be organized, structured, and have a reasoned approach to be able to accomplish what it is that the goals are. But there is also an adaptive aspect to them where they will be able to migrate to the next particular solution if the plan doesn't go as expected. Adapters, planners are absolutely vital in any organization because as we know, not everything works to plan. So when working with this particular client, you want to give them the global scheme. What is the big picture that we're trying to accomplish here? And if they have something that is a possibility, don't let it go unnoticed. Talk about it. Let them have an opportunity to have their say as to what their idea is that they're being inspired with. Use confidence, enthusiasm when you're talking with them. That will encourage them. That will bring more energy into that future side of things. Any kind of challenges that come up, you definitely want to address those. And then also, if you see the possibility, even if it's not a full-fledged solution yet, but if you see the possibility for a future benefit, you definitely want to encourage that sort of thinking. This will get the best out of this particular individual. Moving down to the planner aspect of this individual. Understand that planners, and again, he's leaning slightly in this area, so it's not a dominant planner, but they are decisive and live life according to a plan. Which means if they come up with a plan, it's going to be very difficult for you to change that plan, or at least you need to be cautious in changing those plans, making sure that you have a very good reason and all the facts supporting the reason for changing the plan. They will want to live in a very orderly fashion, so things that are chaotic, disruptive is not going to benefit their ability to be productive. And they want to have control over their circumstances. Planners want to be able to work out their plan. So you want to keep that in consideration as you are looking at these. Now, again, look at the glossary terms so you can get a greater idea. But to give you one more look at this particular individual, as a futurist, they make determine about the world through their futuristic sense or intuition. This internal compass guides them towards meanings, relationships, and possibilities that go beyond the information available from the senses. They tend to look at the big picture and try to grasp the essential patterns. You'll probably become something of an expert or seen as new possibilities and new ways of doing things. They value imagination and inspiration. So these are characteristics of people that are futurists. They tend to look for the possibilities, the what ifs, and how things interrelate in life, the overall scheme of things. They are aware of new challenges and possibilities, focus on how things should be improved. Just like doing the same things repeatedly, they enjoy learning new skills. They work in bursts of energy powered by enthusiasm. They follow inspiration and hunches. They may bet on wrong facts or leap to conclusions, so they need a certain amount of oversight. Just like taking time for precision, it can overcomplicate a task or project, and they ask why things are as they are. Again, if you're looking to have a person as a problem solver, these are great attributes. Now moving down to the planner aspect here. They tend to live in a planned, orderly way. They want to regulate life and control. They like to make decisions, come to closure, and then carry on. They prefer to be structured and organized, wanting things to be settled. Here are characteristics of planners. They tend to be orderly, organized, predictable, and like to regulate life through planning. They work best when they can plan their work and work their plan. They like to get things finished and over with. They may decide things too quickly. May dislike interrupting a project on which they are working. They tend to be satisfied once they reach a decision. Want only the essential needs to begin their work. Use lists as agendas for action. Here is one of the conflict areas they can be driven crazy by adapters. So you want to be careful in partnering this person with a dominant adapter. Now again, in this particular case, we're looking at 70% planner. So this is not a super dominant aspect of this individual. They are significantly adaptive also. And again, that is going to be very helpful in problem solving because when we are looking at situations that need to be addressed, we don't always have the perfect answer. Moving on to our advanced assessments, we'll go ahead and start off with the interest. They are the what. Couple things to bring to note in regards to this individual. Persuasion is going to be one of the big tools. They are interested in being persuasive. They are gifted in being persuasive, and they value being persuasive. This is going to be very good in a sales situation, trying to motivate people to come along with a decision, or to be able to address a problem. Very well be beneficial in a sales support or even a sales situation. We see the first of their two leadership interests. They are able to develop and organize a business community through such skills as problem solving. Again, this is a strength in this particular design. And then motivational leadership. This is going to be tied closely to their persuasive skills, but their ability to be able to lead people to accomplish personal goals by strategizing. This is a great team dynamic capability and very necessary in a leadership role. That is what they are interested in. So these are the sort of jobs and abilities that you want to direct them towards, and tasks, I should say. Abilities. We're looking at somebody that is fairly dominant in the persuasion area. A third of their giftings are in that area. And then in addition to that, they are also given certain leadership capability, independent self-management. With their creative abilities, you're looking at the ability to be able to use their imagination to develop new and innovative concepts. So this is going to be a great team member to partner with creative people, as long as the refining aspect of the individual is not misinterpreted by the creative team. They're going to be able to see solutions. They're going to be able to come up with ways to innovate around a problem. Also going down here, they are self-motivated. They do not need a lot of micromanagement. In fact, I would encourage simply to be put in a position of trust and authority and not micromanage or overly controlled in this area. Though oversight is going to be necessary to make sure that they've come to the right conclusion. Finally, this is the value section, and this is why. Of all the things that we've talked about, this is one of the most important aspects for this individual and for all people. As Simon Sinek said, this is why. This is what causes great organizations and people to be so motivated to be able to develop a better phone, a better platform, to innovate, to come over, and to come up with ideas to overcome problems. We see a number of leadership qualities here: being persuasive, being influential. It's important for them to make an impact. And then also even in this particular area, that this is not a dominant leadership element, developing potential. This individual is going to be very good at getting the best out of your team between motivational leadership and their problem-solving, creative, innovative approach to work and to whatever is placed before them. They're going to bring to this a tremendous amount of creative problem-solving, persuasive leadership in the team. So if I was to motivate this individual and to give you a rough synopsis, I would say you definitely want to give them an opportunity to be able to be in leadership where they will be able to use their skills to be able to manage and to help people. The counseling aspect that they were interested in is the coaching aspect. So they're going to be especially good at helping people come to decisions, to actually be able to join in with the team approach, to be able to become who it is that they were best suited to be. These are powerful strengths within this individual and things that they are generally interested in. If a person is not interested in motivational leadership or developing potential, I don't care how much you pay them, they're not going to do a good job. This individual will do a great job in that particular area. I would say that their ability to be able to lead is going to be enhanced by again their problem-solving giftings, but most importantly their leadership and persuasion capabilities. And they will personally be motivated by the internal values of developing that potential, creative solutions, and also something that we didn't talk about. They like a challenge. They don't want to saddle this person with mundane problems. You want to give something that is really going to cause them to have to work and to invest themselves. This particular person would be a tremendous asset to any team. Would really flourish under a strong developer and would really benefit any organization that has challenges that they are faced with that are a little bit above and beyond the norm. That concludes our lateral analysis of this client. Please again go to the terms.
For 22 hours, we show up, not for fame, not for applause, but for the ones who wake up every day and put everyone else first.
This is our fourth year. 22 continuous hours, real conversations, real stories, real hope. Voices that refuse to be silent. Hearts that refuse to quit.
Some are exhausted, some are hurting, some are carrying the weight of the world quietly, while still showing up for others. This podcast is for them.
On Sunday, February 22nd, starting at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific, we go live for 22 straight hours to raise funds, raise awareness, and remind people they are not alone. If you've ever felt unseen, if you've ever given more than you had, if you believe compassion still matters.
This is your moment to stand with us. Listen, share, support. Because when we come together, hope gets louder, strength multiplies. Real heroes don't wear capes. They just keep showing up, tired, unseen, and still giving.
Join us live. Sunday, February 22nd, 4 a.m. East 1 a.m. Pacific. Show up for those who never stop showing up for others.
Because no one needs to go it alone. When we all
come together.
All right, Les. In that, you found out when you took this assessment, you found out that you're more of a refiner, or are you more of a director?
There's two different. Director is one group, and refiner is the other. The
Right.
Refiner goes in the project itself, and I'm a refiner. Director is the way that you deal with other people. When you're working with them in a team. So there's two different things there. So I'm a refiner and a director.
Yeah, and I was looking at this, making systems better, and this is in the refiner role. The person, a refiner, is best when they're improving something that already exists. This would be the Roy Cook of McDonald's. Okay, making systems better, more efficient, and of a higher quality. He made sure that everything was the same across every restaurant. You'll never go to a McDonald's and things look drastically different. You're not going to go to another McDonald's and see a Big Mac made a different way, with only two pieces of bread. So it just doesn't happen. And a lot of times the refiner will lose interest once something is fully optimized.
Yeah.
When there's no longer anything that they can do to improve the program, that's when they start to lose business, and that's when you need someone with long-term ability to step in and drive it.
Exactly.
So they're always trying to make things work better. And so, I know that this is probably not me. I'm more of the guy that I like to create things. I like to, but how to improve them, I need people like you, Les. I need people around me who can improve what we're doing together. I'm definitely not I'm open to suggestions, but I'm definitely not the guy who can think of, I'm the guy that throws stuff at the wall to see if it sticks, but I am the guy that you put a piece of paper and a pencil in my hand, I can come up with something. So, but I do like the way that this is, when with the director, you got the guy who's taking charge, the guy or the gal, excuse me, I did not mean that. The individual who's taking charge, organizing chaos. I love that. And driving action. They're often misunderstood as bossy or pushy. And I heard that earlier, and that stuck in my head so much because I've been that way for a long time. Back in my former job, before my accident, Les, I used to get in trouble all the time because I would make people not want to work with me because I drove too hard. I was like, but I'm always one of those that, what, if I have to go back and do your job after you did your job, you didn't do your job. So, so I don't want to go and do your job after I've already done my job, and after you've done your job, I don't want to have to do your job again. So, but I did, and so when I heard that part, I giggled. I really did. I was like, going, oh my God, that's me. So, but and we like solving problems quickly, and that's also, I'm not a very patient person. I want to see things, I want to see things happen. And if I would slow down a little bit, I don't know if I'd be the same. So that's why I need other people in there.
In that position, you needed a persuader. in between you and the people you were talking to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was actually kind of funny because my direct supervisor was a guy that people didn't really like, but I got along with him well. But he would have to take that role as the persuader, and he would come up to me and he goes, you make me uncomfortable because I actually have to be the good guy. And he was like, and I've never been the good guy. Well, I guess you found a bigger jerk than even yourself, so imagine that. But this was amazing today, Les. I think that we really learned a lot. I think that this is something that maybe we can even touch on a little bit more next month.
Sure.
And what we'll do is we'll probably play this at least once more throughout the month and remind people what we're looking at, and we'll keep up with any updates on stuff that's going on. But this is really interesting. And one of the things I like about this most, Les, and this, I believe you and I talked about this before. In the traditional sales coaching, there was the 4 levels. Right. And it was always told to you that you couldn't cross those boundaries. Mm-hmm. Because a person who's a little sheepish or afraid of the people who are demanding. That's not what this is saying. This is saying if you need someone to help you, find someone to help you. Talk to that person who's demanding. It's not saying stay away from them. It's saying, no, find a way to get to them. Because you can't block people when it comes to business. You can't block people out of your area. Because if you do that, you're going to lose business, right?
Yep. For sure.
So, but Les, how do people get a hold of you, my friend?
Les at csccourse.com, or the cell phone's 303-579-6881. And also my calendar is https://calendar.csccourse.com.
I appreciate it, Les. And again, I just wanted to one more time, I wanted to reiterate to you, to Susan and to Kathleen, that you guys, you did such a wonderful job. And I appreciate you all 3 taking the time and sitting with me for an hour on a miracle of the season and opening up about what you did. Your lovely wife has been with us a couple times, and every time she just amazes me. She's a wonderful person. And meeting Kathleen was so neat, and talking about all the art and the passion that she took from her father and her family's keeping up with. I think that it was really an impactful hour of my life, and I appreciate everything. And then your stories alone just really, they had more of an impact on me than you'll ever know, Les. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for this, my friend.
All right. Well, you have a good day.
We will see you all next month with the Les Simpson Show Master Class. So, but until then, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
For 22 hours, we show up, not for fame, not for applause, but for the ones who wake up every day and put everyone else first.
This is our 4th year. 22 continuous hours of real conversations, real stories, real hope. Voices that refuse to be silent. Hearts that refuse to quit.
Some are exhausted, some are hurting, some are carrying the weight of the world quietly, while still showing up for others. This podcast is for them.
On Sunday, February 22nd, starting at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific, we go live for 22 straight hours to raise funds, raise awareness, and remind people they are not alone. If you've ever felt unseen, if you've ever given more than you had, if you believe compassion still matters.
This is your moment to stand with us. Listen, share, support. Because when we come together, hope gets louder, strength multiplies. Real heroes don't wear capes. They just keep showing up, tired, unseen, and still giving.
Join us live Sunday, February 22nd, 4 a.m. East, 1 a.m. Pacific. Show up for those who never stop showing up for others.
Because no one needs to go it alone. When we all
come together.
Say, bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.